Day one of flight school starts this morning. In 15 minutes, I will begin my first class. I'm excited, a little nervous, but excited. It's gonna feel so good to get back up in the air again, start flying, learn maneuvers. It's gonna be great. On the schedule today is obviously check-in, orientation, and then I have a couple group classes. I think they're ground classes. And I have a 2-hour sim flight. I've never done a simulator before, so that's gonna be cool. At the end of the day, I have a 2-hour flight, going over the same maneuvers that I learned in the class during the sim, and then, produce those maneuvers in the air. Yeah, that's the day. I don't know if I can film in there or not. We'll find out today. We'll find out everything today. I have a lot of questions for them, so looking forward to it. There it is right there. My new home for the next couple years. Just wrapped up first day of flight school. It was pretty cool. First thing we did like orientation and check-in and whatnot, and just kind of like went over the expectation and rules and timeline of the program. It is a fast-paced program, so they want you getting it done ideally within anywhere as quick as 7 months to a year and a half. Some students take, they said. I really would like to get it done within like 7 to 9 months. That'd be awesome. After that, we went to the sim. They got 2 sims. Both of them are like wraparounds, so it literally feels like you're in a plane. They don't like move with you and whatnot, but like the screen obviously moves when you're turning and going up and down. So that was really cool. All we did was straight level flights and like a little bit of turning and banking here and there, but it was mainly just to like get familiarized with the simulator. He was showing me how to use the screens and like all the buttons on the flight deck and just like proper procedures. And right after that, we went out into an actual plane and did exactly like the same thing we did on the sim. Straight level flights, turns, maneuvers here and there. Unfortunately, the weather went south real quick. Like it was clear skies, sunny out, and it was like, I think it was like 60 degrees. So, good weather. It gets super cold, cloudy, and the wind picked up like crazy. We were getting tossed around like a rag doll. I got sick. I didn't puke, but I was on the verge of puking. He was also getting sick, which is saying something because he's been in a lot of flights in these little planes and he's used to this type of turbulence. So for him to get sick, it was pretty bad. Thankfully, none of us puked, and he landed it really well. He's a really great instructor, at least from what I could tell from day one. Super cool guy, down to earth. You can tell he really wants to help you become the best student pilot you can, which I very much appreciate that. Yeah, it was all in all like a really good first day. I'm expecting and hoping that, the rest of the days will kind of be like this, where I do a lot of simulator flights, I do a lot of flying in the air, maybe a ground class maybe once or twice a week, they said. Outside of that, I'll just be studying on my own or studying with other students in the same section that I'm in. There was 2 other guys that I had orientation with, so just 3 of us that were starting. They start class every week. You can start every Monday. It's like a new opportunity for a student to come in. They don't have only enrollment in like September. It's just every week, so that's kind of cool. So that allows me to talk to students that have been there for a while and are in a farther phase of the private pilot where I'm at right now, and just ask them questions and see if they have any input or other ways of looking at information and able to understand it and grasp it. So that's nice. They allow people to just join, all the time. Tomorrow, I believe, is kind of the same thing. Hopefully it's better weather though. That'd be nice. Good morning, guys. It's day 2 of flight training. The morning of, right now I'm doing my weight and balance calculations, making sure the aircraft is having all of its necessary documents, like its airworthiness certificate, registration certificate, operating handbook, POH, and then the weight and balance data. It's 7:30 right now. I have a sim flight at 9 o'clock this morning. 2-hour sim flight, we're going over maneuvers. I have a flight right after that, a 2-hour flight, where we will be doing the maneuvers that we did in the sim. This is my first time doing an airworthiness checklist and weight and balance. We went over it yesterday in my CFI, so I kind of got a cheat sheet. The numbers are a little different. It's nice that I can kind of go off of this, just get used to this piece of paper, because it's a lot of information packed onto one piece of paper. It's kind of intimidating. If you just go section by section, it's not that bad. Hopefully over time, it doesn't take me this long to do it, because right now I'm 20 minutes into it and I'm not even done with the first side, and it's double-sided, so we will keep improving. Just wrapped up the end of day 2 for flight training. It wasn't the best day, not gonna lie. We started it with a 2-hour sim, which, I mean, that was fine. I was just getting, like, the screens were kind of messing with my eyes, and I could feel like my head spinning while we were still level on the ground. Like, it felt like the whole room was turning while I was turning. It was really odd and bizarre. And I think that's the reason why when we went out to the actual flight after that, I got motion sickness again, like I did yesterday, but like really, really bad. I've never felt motion sickness this bad before. I still feel it, and it's been, what time is it? 2 hours later. Like I still feel it, not as bad. If I look around too much or like turn my head too fast, it just makes me feel like I'm spinning. It was super choppy up there, like it was yesterday. But like all the other students and instructors were saying, like, man, it's pretty bad up there. So that makes me feel a little better dealing with this motion sickness, because other people are experiencing it. But at the same time, it's kind of annoying, because, you know, when you're in the air, that's the actual like experience that you need to improve on and adapt to. So this is like hindering me from progressing as a student. I know it's only day 2 and it should get better. Like, I Googled it and they said it's actually like super common for student pilots to experience this right away. Just, it keeps getting better over time. Your body adjusts to it. Yeah, I was so air sick up there that like my hands were like legit shaking. We had to stop the flight early. I couldn't do it the full 2 hours because I was either gonna throw up, which, I mean, they have puke bags in there, but nobody wants to be smelling that the rest of the ride. Or it felt like I was almost gonna pass out. Just like, it was torture up there for some reason. So I had to call it quits early. That was the whole summary of day 2, not the best. Hopefully this is like the worst it ever is gonna be for me. Because if it gets worse than this, man, that's gonna be tough. On the bright side, I got home and my desk chair arrived, so I'm just building that right now. Instead of having to stand the whole time on my standing desk, I can now lower it and sit down for a bit. Be nice. On my to-do list for tonight before tomorrow's sim and flight, I have to memorize normal approaches, normal takeoffs, the before landing checklists, and just all the checklists in general for that. Know how to fly the traffic pattern, have all this memorized before we start. That's the goal for tonight. It's kind of how it's been the first 2 days, is they give you this information and they want you to basically have it memorized, which, you know, I get it. It makes flying easier, less mistakes are happening, and less you trying to catch up as a student if you prepare. So I fully like support their thought process and their ways. It's just, you know, memorization does take a while to accomplish. I'm gonna get this done tonight. We'll start tomorrow with the sim. With every bad day follows a good day. Today was awesome. We did takeoff and landings at a airport near to us. He did like all the communications and everything, contacting the radio, but I was the one taking off and landing. We had some pretty crazy winds again. Thankfully, I did not get sick today. I hope it continues to be like that. But yeah, I didn't feel any sickness. I was able to really focus, get my wind corrections inputs in correctly. really understand what he was trying to describe to me as it was happening in real time. I think I did like maybe 6 or 7 takeoff and landings by myself, a few go-arounds, but everything was feeling good. He seemed really impressed, which is good to hear. Gave me a lot more confidence in flying. It really does show that you can have really bad days and really good days. It's just going to be a roller coaster. All in all, a great time. What's up, guys? It's middle of the day on day 5, last day of the week for flight training. Just got back from a morning flight and we did takeoff and landings. It was super smooth out there, super calm. I landed 5 of them by myself, so really happy with that. I'm really starting to understand the feeling of the controls, when to flare out, when not to flare out, air speeds, and just the right pitch. It's kind of all starting to connect. Really happy with that. Now I have about a 3-hour break, and then I'll have a simulated flight with my instructor, where we'll be doing takeoff and landings as well. Hopefully it goes as smooth as the actual takeoff and landings did. Well, that wraps up the first week of flight school. It was a good week. I really enjoyed it. The first few days were affected by me getting motion sickness. I think I had a little bit of a head cold or a head flu. I felt kind of felt very drained the first couple days. I think a lot of just new things coming at you, living in a new area, going to a new school, flying takes a lot of energy and concentration. You're always concentrating. You really have no breaks up there. It's all about safety and preparing for your next step. So you're always doing something. So I think my body's still adapting to the new schedule that I'm in. Constant training, studying at night, reading a lot, watching a lot of videos and training videos and all that. I'd say first week went great. I flew Monday through Friday every day for about 2 hours every day in the air and then 2 hours on the simulator. Their minimum for flying, I believe, is 3 flights a week. So I surpassed the minimum, which is awesome. I was gonna try and get a flight today, which is Saturday, because the weather's beautiful, and tomorrow the weather's supposed to be nice as well. But my instructor recommended, after I told him kind of how I was feeling, just like physically and mentally, he's like, you know what, just take a break. You'll come back rejuvenated with more energy and just a better focus. I agree with that. So taking the weekend off from flying, but I'm still studying. Right now, I'm trying to memorize, it's called a pre-takeoff brief. It's what you say to your passengers if you have an engine failure and just the steps you're gonna do. I gotta memorize that this weekend, and then there's a couple other things I gotta memorize, just like procedures in the plane that you have to perform rote memory, because you don't have time to like grab the sheet and then try to read off what you gotta do. It's better just to have it memorized so your reaction time is instant. I don't know where the stigma came from that ATP flight school is bad, because before I started or decided to start ATP, I obviously did research, watched a lot of YouTubers, read a lot of Reddit forums, and there was a lot of hate towards ATP school. Maybe because it's only week 1 that I haven't noticed it, but honestly, I've only had great experiences with everything. Everyone there is super nice, super helpful, willing to like go out of their way to just talk to you and just like ask how you're doing. The planes are super nice, the facility is super nice. Yeah, I've had no issues whatsoever. So I don't know if it varies from location, maybe it does, but so far I'm just having an awesome time. And I'm looking forward to the second week. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on week 2.